Labadiena, ponai ir ponios. Džiugu vėl matyti jūs susirinkusius eilinėje STRUCTUM konferencijoje. Ir šios konferencijos tema šiandieną yra inovacijos architektūroje ir statyboje. Ir šiaip šios dvi sritys, architektūra ir statyba, yra nepaprastai tampriai susijusios. Ir praktiškai galima sakyti, kad inovacijos vienoje paskatina inovacijas kitoje. Ir atvirkščiai, kūrybiniai architektų sumanymai paskatina technologinės ir konstrukcinės statybinės inovacijas, taip pat ir naujos galimybės, kurias sukuria mūsų pramonė, paskatina architektų kūrybinės idėjas. Todėl man labai malonu jūs visus pasveikinti šioje konferencijoje Lietuvos architektų sąjungos ir kompanijos STRUCTUM vardu. Aš esu Marius Dirgėla, Lietuvos architektų sąjungos kūrybos vadovas. Ir šiandien pabandysiu moderuoti, taip pat jeigu prašysiu jūsų klausti, tai klauskite drąsiai, tai bus neformalus prašymas, o iš tikrųjų mums labai svarbu, kad auditorija gautų atsakymus į visus klausimus. Taigi, kokios inovacijos aktualiausios šiandien, kokios naujausios idėjas, ko galime tikėtis vieni iš kitų, kaip tai gali padėti kiekvienam iš mūsų profesinėme gyvenime, visą tai mes dar sužinosime. Tačiau pradžioje turiu dar porą techninių pranešimų. Vienas iš jų tai, šiuo atveju čia net ne techninis pranešimas, kad mes labai dėkojame pagrindiniams mūsų rėmėjams Unideko, taip pat rėmėjams Lavazza kavai ir Hermis vandeniui. Tikiuosi, jie jums kaip visada labai patiko. Ir labai prašau konferencijos metu, kadangi matome, kad praėjimai siauri, vietų nedaug, be ypatingų reikalų nevaikščioti ir telefonu nekalbėti. Pradėsime mūsų konferenciją ir kviečiu pirmąjį pranešėją. Tai bus Dmitrijs Astašonoks, VELUX generalinis direktorius Baltijos šalims. Ir jo pranešimo tema skamba angliškai, kaip ir jo turbūt pranešimas vyks anglų kalba. Homes for Indoor Generation, Healthy Buildings for Future with Smart Technologies.
A very good morning. I'll talk in English. My Lithuanian is not on the level I think I could communicate with you. So, let's start. 90% of our time we spend indoors, doing all the things we like to do. We sleep, cook, shower, play and work. But the problem is that it all makes us ill. The lack of daylight and fresh air make us moody, tired. It's also responsible for an increase in cases of asthma and allergies. So the last decade I spent with great colleagues who every day put an effort to make a living environment for people better, so we all can have a better life. In the next 20 minutes, you'll get to know how you can make your and people you care lives better. But you are here also for business, right, for work. So what value it can bring to your daily work. And also you'll be introduced to the latest European study who take pulse from the European homes and buildings and how it shows how it examines how it can be improved in order to make benefit for you, society and the planet. Every day, myself and my team, we talk with the people and share and talk with the entrepreneurs, builders, developers, architects about the benefits and importance of daylight and fresh air. That the daylight and the fresh air, this is something not nice to have, but something we all need as a human being. Last year we have introduced the indoor generation. Who are they? Well, they're you, and me, they all of us. When we introduce the video that you'll just see in a second, after 3 months on YouTube and social media, it reached more than 115 million views and created a big resonance in media all over the world. So let's watch the video.
In 160 seconds, you will decide how the story ends. This is a story about us, the indoor generation.
a generation that spends 90% of its life indoors. It all started the day we left nature behind. We filled our homes with lovely things and all the stuff we wanted. Our homes became places you would never want to leave. Artificial light replaced daylight, and we built our houses so that nothing could escape. We cooked and showered, breathed and played, slept and sweated. But we had closed ourselves in to a point where nothing could get out. So when the air turned bad inside, we tried fixing it with chemicals. And we put in little artificial suns everywhere to make the darkness bearable. That's when things started to happen. Hard to notice in the beginning. Some needed help to sleep, to breathe, to not itch. Many of us even started to feel sad. So we turned on happy lamps to make the sadness go away. Then, scientists discovered that the air inside our homes is up to 5 times more polluted than the air outside. And that the lack of daylight can affect children's learning and increase blood pressure. It turns out that kids' rooms often have the highest concentration of toxicants in the house. In fact, millions of homes are unhealthy to live in. They discovered that living in damp and moldy homes increases the risk of asthma by 40%. And I learned that millions of people like me suffer from asthma and allergies caused by a bad indoor environment. And so, here we are. How the story ends is up to you, because it's not written yet. If you care about the indoor generation, do something. Begin to think and live differently. Let light and fresh air into your life again. Even small changes can make a huge difference for coming generations. Learn how at theindoorgeneration.com.
So, the air indoors can be up to 5 times more polluted than the air outside. And unfortunately, often the kids' room are most polluted room in the house. Living in damp and moldy homes, people are more likely to have an asthma. And daylight, when we are lack on it, we cannot measure it. But the symptoms, we're not getting it enough. It actually makes us tired, make us moody. It's decrease the quality of our sleep. Then next day, we're more likely to have a stress, which also affect our immune system, so it's a big chain. So today in Europe, 80 million people live in unhealthy buildings. The people are not realizing they also are in a room with a high CO2 level. And also the majority of the people actually do not air the room twice a day. Such a simple thing to open a window to get a fresh air as recommended. The buildings in the past, also the heating was cheap, so actually nobody cared so much about energy efficiency, right? So there was enough air which is coming through the windows and get to the doors and so on. And the challenge is today that when we have a big focus in order to boost the energy performance, the buildings are built with the modern insulation and airtight, so the ventilation should be even more important today. And daylight. So what people say, what daylight actually, why do we need it indoors? Because the people say that 63% that it affects their productivity. They sleep better. They have a better mood. But also the daylight we all need, so our inner clock is running. Yeah? So we have everybody have an inner clock. Yeah? So it's very important that it runs properly. It's also proved that it improves when you have a good indoor conditions with enough daylight, that it's improved children learning ability up to 15%, and also that students have a better results in the test. Here I want to introduce you a latest study. Actually, it is a study what our company initiated together with some of our partners, which take pulse from the buildings in Europe. And already we have issued, we have 4 editions already, and the new one will just come in 1 month. We'll introduce it in Paris for the big audience of professionals from all over the Europe and also to European Commission. And if someone is willing to get also the copy from the last years, in a break, please contact me or my colleagues and we'll make sure you get also the latest copy of it. Some of the facts about our building stock in Europe. So in Europe we have more than 110 million single family homes. And also just for you to know that buildings in Europe consume 40% of energy. And it's also the buildings, 36 of all CO2 emission levels it produced by the buildings. If you look on the Baltics, we are close to 1 million single family homes, quite a huge amount. And in Lithuania, if you look, the number is also quite high, 500,000. Well, not 500,000, 500, yeah, 500,000. And the interesting fact, if you look on the age of the buildings in Europe, and you can see also Lithuania there, so in average, the biggest share is built quite many years ago, and in Lithuania, 76% is built before 1979. And the interesting fact that 9 of 10 of this existing building will be used also in 2050, so 30 years more. So talking about the healthy home, we need to understand what is unhealthy building. So and the unhealthy building is when it's cold during the winter time, when there is a damp, high humidity level, there is also overheating problems during the summertime, and also the lack of daylight. So, and here is also the statistics for you just to have a look, situation in Europe, but also in Lithuania, when the people live in unhealthy building in some of the areas that we have investigated, then they are more likely to report the poor health. And you see the numbers quite scary, I would say, and if you look on Lithuania, so 2 out of 7 Lithuanians live in unhealthy buildings today. It also, so this situation, what I'm telling you now, so it's, of course, it's not only making an impact on our health and European health, but also on the pocket of Europeans. So you can see quite a big number, 82 billion, it's annual cost for Europe, for taxpayers, in order to treat all this, which is connected to asthma and different allergies. Yeah. And now in a short video, I want to show you some facts about the status of building in Europe. Let's watch a short video.
We used to spend much more time outside, working, commuting, relaxing. But over recent years, this has changed. Nowadays, we spend more than 9 out of 10 hours indoors, and that makes buildings absolutely vital to people's well-being. If we look across Europe today, 1 in 6 Europeans actually lives in an unhealthy building. And if you live in one of these unhealthy buildings, you're more than 1.5 times as likely to suffer from poor health, and 40% more likely to have asthma. Unhealthy buildings are not just a problem for the people living in these buildings either. They also represent a major economic burden on European societies. Each year, the cost to European societies for treating asthma, along with associated losses due to decreased productivity and sick days, reaches 82 billion euros. That would make a stack of €1 coins 191,000 kilometers high, reaching halfway to the moon. And that's equivalent to more than half the EU's annual budget. Now consider how much energy these buildings consume. 3 out of 4 buildings in Europe today are not energy efficient. That's a problem for those paying the energy bills, and also for our environment, as buildings account for 40% of the EU's total energy consumption. There are 110 million single-family homes in Europe, and 84% of those are privately owned. This means that private homeowners are key to achieving a healthier building stock. After all, they're the ones who'll need to carry out renovations. And for them, reducing energy costs and improving well-being are the most important reasons for renovating their house. Today's renovation rate stands at a very low 1 to 2%. To achieve a healthier building stock, we'll need to raise this rate, and that means focusing policies on improving well-being and energy efficiency.
Good. We talk about the homes. Let's also have on a segment that I think everyone is used to do every day, so work environment, out the offices. And if you look on the simple things, how the company operates the business. So we have an office, we have employees. So normally the personnel costs, employee costs, including all the salaries, benefits, close to 90% of business operational cost. And imagine if the productivities of employees, the small impact variation down, can for sure impact also the performance of the company. It's also productivity and also the cost. And today, as you can see, the number quite scary is that 47% of Europeans doesn't have access to the daylight during their work. Even the such things like having a windows in the office can improve and boost productivity. And also the workers sleep better and they perform better. They sleep also longer, in fact, and perform better next day. There are some more facts that you can see what this healthy climate and even such views and daylight can affect on us. And you can see even when in a hospital, the people, if we are sick in a hospital and having a view outside, so actually people are spending less days in a hospital. So let's make a small vote here. Please raise a hand who agree with the statement what you see on a screen, that the real estate, let's say a house, have a higher value, have a more value, so better selling price. Yeah. And here is a result of one research, it was from Denmark, that a private house with 170 square meters had a higher selling price of 85 euro per square meter, which generates 14,500 euro additional value in a selling price. So it's definitely also a good investment for the value of the property. So we talk about the problems of unhealthy building, and let's look a little bit on what are the solutions. Yeah? And some few facts. So I think everyone in this room should maybe have heard the smart homes. Yeah? And in fact, the smart home segment, it's expected to grow in the next 5 years, from 15 to 20% in revenues, next 5 years. And the IoT, Internet of Things devices, will grow even more higher than a mobile. So that's actually quite a big future for us. And if we look in Europe, what is a smart home? What are the people expecting from the smart home? And this is, you can see some of the things what are on mind and what people think when they're thinking about the smart homes. Yeah? So it's more about the smart thermostat and security. And our company recently have done also some steps toward that, and we have last year launched a product. It's called VELUX Active. It's sensor-based system which operates roof windows and shutters and blinds to ensure a healthy indoor climate automatically. And I will, in a short video, want to share with you how it performs. very simple and at the same time, as I would say, unique products that ensure the indoor climate automatically measuring the CO2 level, humidity, and temperature in the house. So, buildings are very powerful. Design it in a proper way. It's able to create a good place for us to relax, recharge from a busy life, and be ready for the next day, as well as boost our productivity at offices and schools. In order to improve the situation, of course, it is important that it's important that attention is paid from legislation, from politicians, from professionals, developers, architects. You are designing the buildings. But also, it's important to talk and share, let to know people about the situation of the building. So, in the end, I want to ask only a simple question to everyone, and you can maybe ask it by yourself, actually. What can I do daily? And in fact, there are very simple things. I put some on the screen. Yeah. So what can I do daily in order to improve my indoor climate around me? So, and you actually can be heroes and to save the indoor generation. So thank you very much, and I wish you a good day.
I probably only have one question. Maybe you won't be liking it that much, but you mentioned that in Lithuania there are a lot of old houses and houses approximating 80 years old or so. And especially in Vilnius old town we have old houses with gabled roofs and everything. And the regulations are such that we most of the time are not permitted to build the roof windows into those houses, and thus making problems for us to make those houses maybe more healthy than they are, because the artificial ventilation in old town is also sometimes difficult. So maybe your company is working on some solutions in this field.
A very good question. Thank you very much for that. We are facing sometimes, yeah, that's a kind of facing an issues in order to have a daylight in the attics. And I can tell you, we are facing actually the people who are owning this attic and owning these apartments, and they are coming to us and contacting us how we can help, how we can help them. And of course, we cannot do anything right now with the legislation. Yeah? And but we are talking about it, and we are doing. We know this is an issue, and what we are trying to show. For example, if we're talking in Lithuania, we're trying to show some good examples from other countries, like for example Denmark, where we are originally coming from. Where actually, if you walk in the center of Copenhagen, and you look on a roof, then you can have quite a lot of attics which are used in that, and they are having daylight in this attics. So we are trying to inspire people and show good examples how other countries are doing. So that's what we are trying to do.
Okay, maybe that's a theme for your next time presentation, and we try to invite some authorities also.
Thank you very much.